Over the weekend, Israel and Hamas successfully completed their latest hostage and prisoner exchange with 2 weeks left in the first phase of their ceasefire deal. It is a relief, but can the deal survive through the upcoming phases? Let's turn to Professor Hassan. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us.
Nice. Thanks for having me again. Thank you.
So Hamas let go of 3 Israeli hostages in exchange for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. The question is, why do you think Hamas decided to free the hostages after threatening a pause to the deal?
The thing is, the Hamas decision to release these 3 Israeli hostages, including 1 American Israeli national, after previously threatening to halt such releases, appears to be influenced by several factors. First and most of all is the international pressure, particularly from mediators like Egypt and Qatar, who played the very significant role in facilitating this kind of negotiations. Also, Hamas is likely aimed to maintain its position within the Palestinian community by securing the release of these 369 Israeli Palestinian prisoners. Besides, also Hamas is very keen to uphold this current ceasefire agreement, which is very crucial for both humanitarian reasons and also strategic positioning. You see, Hamas is using these releases for propaganda to show off their power of negotiation.
So mounting pressure from the international community and also Hamas really wanting to keep the deal as a strategic card.
Of course. It's for their interest to keep this deal going on.
Then on top of that, would you say U.S. President Donald Trump's warning / threat to Hamas also played a role in successful ceasefire swap over the weekend?
Yeah, of course. President Trump's ultimatum to Hamas demanding the release of Israeli hostages by the end of the deadline on Saturday served as a substantial pressure on the group itself. His warning that severe consequences, he said, the gates of hell will open to Hamas, would ensue if the deadline is breached. This stands coupled with Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu's similar threats that create environment where Hamas found it strategically very beneficial to keep the deal going on.
Well, things were rocky up until Saturday when we all thought the deal or the swap possibly couldn't not happen. Now, do you think the first phase of the deal, we have 2 weeks left, which is set to end by the end of the month, will end in peace for Gaza?
It's a very, very good question. But, this initial phase of Gaza ceasefire has led to just a temporary halt in fighting and facilitating humanitarian deliveries and the aid trucks going into Gaza. However, achieving lasting peace in Gaza requires addressing deeper issues that this first phase cannot resolve. Recent developments underscore fragility of this current ceasefire. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio visited Israel, and he endorsed Israel's objective to eradicate Hamas, casts very big doubt on the ceasefire durability. Rubio and Netanyahu also have emphasized that peace is unattainable as long as Hamas remains a threat. This stance suggests a potential resumption of fighting. Also, the ceasefire agreement includes provision and release of hostages and prisoners. However, ongoing violence, such as Israeli airstrikes resulting in casualties among Hamas personnel, continues to put pressure and restraint on this truth.
Well, hopefully the first phase of the deal will end in relief and peace. But we have to talk about the upcoming phase 2 of the ceasefire deal. Why is there no progress on phase 2 of the ceasefire deal? I mean, when will the plan for the phase 2 be finalized?
There's a very important thing you have to know, that there are many factors leading to that. First thing you have to know is both Israel and Hamas fundamentally have different goals,
of course,
leading to significant lack of trust. So Israel Prime Minister of Israel aims to dismantle Hamas militarily And Hamas seeks to end Israel's military actions and lifting blockade on the Gaza Strip. These diversions complicate negotiations, as each side questions the other side's commitment to honoring any agreement. Second, Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu faces considerable pressure from his government, his own country, from the hardliners who advocate for continued military operations. This makes it challenging for him to commit to any further withdrawal or ceasefire agreements, as it might show as a sign of weakness from his side. So there is no exact timeline to finalizing the second phase of ceasefire plan, but the situation remains fluid and heavily influenced by political maneuvering and the ability of negotiators to facilitate these negotiations.
Indeed, and things in Gaza have become more complex with, Trump's ambitions to take over the area and relocate Palestinians. The ambitions are growing bigger day by day. Do you think this can potentially break and terminate the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas?
Among Trump's recent outlandish claims to other countries' territories, such as Canada, Panama, Gulf of Mexico, and Greenland, this is the strangest one. President Trump's proposal to own Gaza Strip and relocate its residents of 2 million people to neighboring countries introduced significant tension to that it could collapse the ceasefire. The plan, which is envisioned in transforming Gaza into Riviera of the Middle East, has been met with condemnation from Europe and from neighboring countries, regional countries like Egypt and Jordan, and they have firmly rejected the idea of relocating or forced displacement of Israelis to any other country. Hamas has also denounced the proposal, viewing it as a very direct threat to Palestinian sovereignty. Mm-hmm. This perception could prompt Hamas to abandon this ceasefire, leading to resurgence of hostilities. Also, in the Israeli sides, although this proposal might initially appear as a rhetorical stance, it's not real, but its implication is tangible and could lead to collapse of current ceasefire agreement, because hardliners in Israel just hold into it and they think it's doable.
Right. Again, we are only on phase one of the ceasefire deal. Professor Geon Hassan, thank you so much for connecting with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.